The architect of power, Thomas Cromwell, the blacksmith's son, rose to unprecedented power in Tudor England. He became King Henry VIII's most trusted minister, the architect of the English Reformation, and a master of political maneuvering. His influence touched every aspect of the realm, from law to religion, finance to foreign policy. He was a man of immense intellect and ruthless efficiency, reshaping the very fabric of English government. Cromwell's ascent was a testament to his extraordinary abilities, a journey from humble origins to the pinnacle of royal favor. Yet, the higher one climbs, the further one has to fall. The seeds of doubt. Cromwell's downfall began with the ill-fated marriage between King Henry VIII and Anne of Cleves. This alliance, intended to secure Protestant ties, proved disastrous for the king's affections and political standing. Henry found Anne unattractive, and the marriage was quickly annulled, much to the king's humiliation. This failure provided a crucial opening for Cromwell's many enemies at court. Conservative factions, led by figures like the Duke of Norfolk and Stephen Gardiner, had long resented his radical religious reforms and his meteoric rise. They seized upon the king's displeasure as their moment to strike. The sudden arrest. On June 10, 1540, the unthinkable happened. During a Privy Council meeting at Westminster, Thomas Cromwell was suddenly arrested on charges of treason and heresy. The man who had wielded absolute power was now stripped of his authority, his titles, and his freedom. The shock reverberated throughout England. No one, not even Cromwell himself, had anticipated such a swift and brutal end to his dominance. He was immediately taken to the Tower of London, the infamous prison that had claimed so many of Henry VIII's former favorites. The Bill of Attainder. Cromwell was denied a formal trial, a right he himself had often denied others. Instead, a Bill of Attainder was passed against him in Parliament. This legal instrument allowed for conviction and sentencing without the need for a judicial process, based solely on parliamentary decree. The charges against him were numerous and largely fabricated: heresy, corruption, and plotting to marry Princess Mary. Despite his desperate pleas for mercy and his unwavering declarations of loyalty to the king, Henry VIII remained unmoved. The king's trust, once absolute, had vanished. The final days. Imprisoned in the Tower, Cromwell penned eloquent letters to the king, begging for an audience and asserting his innocence. He reminded Henry of his years of faithful service and the many dangers he had navigated for the crown. Yet these appeals fell on deaf ears. The king, perhaps swayed by his enemies or simply weary of Cromwell's influence, signed the warrant for his execution. The man who had orchestrated the downfall of so many, including Anne Boleyn, now faced the same grim fate. His destiny was sealed. The scaffold's edge. On July 28, 1540, Thomas Cromwell was led to the scaffold on Tower Hill. Before a large crowd, he delivered a final speech, acknowledging his sins and affirming his faith in the Catholic Church, despite his role in the Reformation. He prayed for the king and for his own soul. The executioner, reportedly unskilled, botched the beheading, prolonging Cromwell's agony. It was a brutal and undignified end for a man who had once been the most powerful in England. His head was then displayed on London Bridge, a stark warning to all. A legacy of irony. The execution of Thomas Cromwell marked a turning point in Henry VIII's reign. The king soon regretted his decision, realizing the irreplaceable loss of his most capable minister. Cromwell's fall demonstrated the precarious nature of power in the Tudor court, where even the most indispensable servant could be cast aside. His death left a void that no one could truly fill, and Henry's later years were marked by less effective governance. Cromwell's legacy remains complex. A ruthless pragmatist who transformed England, yet ultimately fell victim to the very system he helped to forge.